So in this second video, I'm going to show you how to make a bigger bow that's more fluffy and voluminous. Let's begin. So I'm going to go up to my rectangular tool and I'm going to draw out this rectangular box here in the 2D window. So let's see. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to use the add a point tool, get the middle of this, split it into two segments, and I do the same here. Then I'm going to get the pen tool and draw a line, double click, and here it is. So this is an internal line in the middle of this rectangle. Now let's click on the select move tool because we want to find this pattern piece. So here it is, and what I'm going to do now is with the select move tool selected, I'm going to, let's make sure we know where the right and the wrong sides are. So we're going to switch here, take off the cloth thickness, and okay, so this is the right side because the wrong side is this one. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn this pattern piece with the help of the gizmo. See, okay, I'm going to turn it like this because I need this part here, the wrong part of the gizmo. I'm going to turn it like this. So now I've turned it like this. I'm going to select the fold arrangement tool because I would like to fold this part to this part here. So I'm just going to select it, or even this part to this part. So I'm going to select this fold arrangement tool, and I'm going to just click on the highlighted line and just fold. Because what I want to do is I want to stitch this area here. So I'm going to select my segment sewing tool. I'm going to turn it so that you can see. And here I'm going to stitch it. Now, what I'm going to do with this pattern piece, I'm going to select it, right click, and move to, I'm going to move it to the ground. Okay, so it's on the ground so that when I simulate, I don't have pieces clipping into each other. So I'm going to simulate now, and here it is on the ground. So what I want now a copy of this pattern piece. So I'm gonna just it's already selected. I'm gonna do Control C, Control V. Good. Select it again. Control C, Control V. No. Okay, no, we were on the wrong. Let's go to Select Move. Control C, Control V. And it's not working. Okay, what we're gonna do is let's go back here. We're gonna copy and paste. So here we have this piece right next to it. So what we want to do is we want to sew this end here to this end here. And we can just easily turn it. So we're going to lift this and turn it like that. because now in this bow we want loops. One loop, two loops. So note the sides, for example. So this side here, this here, is where the internal line is. This here is where the internal line is. So if you see, you notice in the 2D window. So let's just simply segment sew it and simulate. So now they're both sewn together. Now while it's on the ground, we can easily gather the middle. I'll take off simulation for a little. And what we're going to do is we're going to do some gathering here. So we select the edit pattern tool, select the internal line, one, hold down shift, select the other, and here in the property editor, we go to elasticity, turn it on, and here in the menu, the submenu, we have strength and ratio. We turn down the ratio and we increase the strength because we want some good gathering. Simulate, and here it starts gathering. So then you judge. It may be a bit too much here if you look at it carefully. So what I can do is I can turn down the or increase the ratio a little, simulate again, and we have a little less. Let's go again. Okay, that's a little less maybe. And then if we need more, we would then eventually come back and just turn it up, turn it, you know, go down with the values. So, okay, so for now, we leave it as is. So now you have this, we'll take off simulation and we're going to select both pattern pieces because we want to lift this bow and turn it. Okay, so we're going to turn it this way. Now remember, it's just the default fabric we're using here. And I'm going to make the middle piece, and that is the band that goes here. So to make the band, you select the rectangular tool, and you more or less estimate, depending, just going by the height here. So we can do like this. And if it's too long, we can shorten it. Now let's check in our 3D window. And here, like we did in the previous video, we're going to put some lines in the 2D window. We're going to add some lines. So with the pen tool, we're going to add a line here. And we're going to add one here. And these internal lines are going to help us fold this because we want it to be sewn around the mid section of this bow. So here we're going to click on the fold arrangement tool. We click on the internal line and we start folding. We do the same for this, and we start folding. So now that it's folded, we can move it a bit closer. I think it's close enough. We can just start segment sewing and simulate. Now it falls to the ground. Okay, Control Z. Let's put it back up there. And this time, instead of letting it fall to the ground, we're going to just add some pins. So we go to our pin box and we slowly left click and drag a little. Okay, we just want it pinned at the edge like that. And here we can simulate and nothing's gonna really fall. So now what we can do here is with the edit pattern tool selected, we're going to just get rid of these internal lines. We click on one, hold down shift, click on the other, right click and delete edge. We've deleted it. Now what we want to do is just make this a little shorter, so we can just take the line, bring it up, or we can hold down shift to guide us and we get it up a little bit. Simulate. Okay, there it's a little shorter. Why don't we make sure you select the right tool, edit pattern tool. Let's get it a little shorter again. You can hold down shift. A little bit shorter. And let's go again. And here it's quite short. Okay. So here it's quite short. And uh, we can proceed. If we need it shorter, we'll do that. Just a question of making it short. We'll shorten it a little, maybe a little bit more before we proceed. Let's do a little like this. Okay, like that. And that's it for now. So here we're beginning to form the bow. Now we would like to, of course, bring out a lot of details in this bow, and we would like it sort of, we said we want it like with a little volume, and we want it to be sort of a puffy. So here already, there are details. If we put, for example, if we turn down our particle distance to 10, and we simulate, you'll see even more details in the bow. More details will come out. Now, what we can do, we can make it puffier by doing a couple things. We can select it, um, but I'm just the loops here, and we could add a little pressure. Go to the property editor and you see pressure, and we can add some pressure. So we can, let's try with 5 and see what happens in the 3D window. We're going to simulate. Okay, so you see 5 brings it up already. Puffs it up like that. So already you may like the look of it, or you can maybe turn it up to 10, simulate, and here it's even puffier. So it's quite puffy at this point. Now, here you can decide. So you can have the puffiness, and another thing you can do is you can also manipulate the preset properties, that is, the cotton properties, as was shown in the previous video. Now we can click on default fabric and we can scroll here and you get to physical properties. This is a custom preset, this cotton. So here you can manipulate the stretch, the bending buckling ratio. You could play around with these values to your advantage, so that if we take this, we'll click here, expand this stretch window. Here we have the warp, the weft, and the bias. Now, remember, if we take this slider and we just increase the values, this will become stiffer. Let's see. We already, you see it changing, becoming stiffer. If we go back again and we change the values here, for example, the bending, okay, that includes the bending, warp, weft, and bias. Let's say we push it up a little more here and we simulate. There again, it got even stiffer. So if we continue like this, the bow that then is going to be more rigid. So there again, you have to play around. It's the way you like your bow. Um, so you'd have to tweak these values according to what you want. Now, for now, I think it's okay. So we've put the pressure and we've tweaked some values here. Now, let's take a good look at this bow here, and because we want it always fluffy with volume. Now, if you look carefully at the fabric itself, it just looks really thin here. So what we want to do is we're going to add some additional thickness. So here we can do it with all the pieces. Here in your property editor, where you see extra render thickness, we can turn that up to, we can put 10. So I put 10. We click anywhere in the windows and it's you'll see the difference. Let's see. Wait a minute. Okay. Not the pressure, but the thickness. Okay. The thickness 10. So to see it better, we'll go to cloth thickness. Okay. Now we're able to see it better. So remember, you have to be on cloth thickness. Otherwise, you won't understand. And this has gotten really thick. If 10 seems to be too much, you can just dial it down to about, let's see, 6. Is 6 better? Maybe you prefer 6. It's okay, not too extreme. So here you have the cloth thickness on, and you have the additional thickness you added, 6. So it's quite structured, this bow. Remember that if you have any problems with the bow falling or flopping, before you put a fabric that you want. You could always turn on the strengthening property like this. Right click and you strengthen. Okay. Now, so if you're satisfied at this point and you think, oh, well, I think that's enough detail, you could even turn down the particle distance to 5, and you even get more detail in your bow. Let's try it here and see. I hope the computer doesn't crash because it's been a little slow these days, but we'll try it anyway. So it's at 5, and then we're going to simulate. Okay, so far so good. It's simulating. And slowly, slowly in the 3D window, you'll see more details emerging. We'll stop the simulation. So we've put it at 5. Now, you may want this part here, the band here in the middle, to be even more crinkly. Now, that's up to you. If you want it more crinkly, you select it, and there you can play around and tweak some of the values when you select this part here. I like it like this. I think it's good. Okay, so now the only thing left would be to create the tails of the bow. And the tails of the bow, we're gonna of course we use the default fabric, so we're going to just, of course, we're gonna keep this. We're not gonna use another fabric for now. uh, Afterwards we're gonna be changing. If you want, we're gonna change the color. So we go to the rectangular tool, and of course we have to draw the tails. So we'll draw out one tail and then we'll copy it accordingly. So we draw the tail like this. It could be a long tail or a short tail. So in the 3D window, this is a really big tail. Okay, let's just put this a little higher up. We select it and move it up a bit. Now this tail is really big, so what we can do is we can, even with the select move tool, you see these arrows here, you can just make that a little skinny. Okay, I think I would like, I don't really want long tails with this bow. You may not agree, but I think I want them a bit shorter. Now, where are we gonna attach this? Good question. We can attach it where we had attached the others, or we can even attach it to the side here. But I think it's better to attach it where we had attached the others. There is a really good seam, and then if we want, we can really space these two tails. We can space them, and I think they can look good this way. They can look good this way, or otherwise we can try another way where we like put one here, put one here. Okay, so let's try attaching it on the band here, the band in the middle. So what you do is you want to find the seam. The seam is where, of course, these two parts, this one and this one, where they're sewn together. So here I can see the seam is right here. So we're going to be attaching it right here. Show you a little bit better. You see it? Okay. Now, with this seam here, We want to divide it, we want to basically add points to one part, not both. So with the add a point, split add point tool, that is, we can right click and we can add a number of points. And we can more or less keep it separate like we did for the other one. So look, we've added 5 points maybe. Um, we can do that, or let's control Z. Here's what we're going to do. Right click and we're going to add the points in a way because it's always equal distant points. For example, we can maybe take away the middle point. So we've added 6, okay? And what we can do now with the edit pattern tool, we're going to just take away this middle one here, right click, delete the point, and we're going to just right click, delete this, right click, delete this. So we have an equal distance. We can sew one here and one here. By the way, let's just see. This is 4.69, 4.69. Okay. So we could have done that in the first place, but we took the long route, which is okay because then you learn more. So I'm going to, you don't have to be so precise with this to put 4.69. It's no big deal if you have some gathering here because it adds quality to the tails. Okay, a more realism. Okay. So we can take we on the edit pattern tool and we could start shaping it. Okay, like this, like this. Let's see how much. It's 10, 10, like 6 wider, 6 centimeters wider. So I don't think it's going to be a big deal. Let's try it and see what happens. So we're going to just sew this and see what happens. So with our select move tool, move it more in place. And then with the segment sewing tool, okay, remember we have to be careful here because we put these dots on only one side here, okay? Not both, not 1, 2, but here. So what we do is, just to be on the safe side, find the area, okay? You see this dot, so it's around here. And we go with our segment sewing now again, and we have to find, okay, this is the middle, this one, this one. Okay, it has to be here. Okay, this one here. Okay, so here it is. We've gotten that there. So we're going to simulate and see how it can look. Okay, so there is some slight gathering, nothing really exaggerated, so it's no big deal. So another thing we can do with this tail, we can just do a symmetric pattern with sewing with this tail. So we'll do whatever happens with one, it's going to happen to the other, right? So right click and symmetric pattern with C. And let's find it in the 3D window. And we're going to sew it far away. Even closer. Now the segment sewing tool selected. Okay. We click on there and we click on there and we simulate. Now we have to fix these tails, and we may want them, it depends if you want them stiff looking like that or if you want a little detail in them, that's up to you. Let's fix them first. For example, with the edit pattern tool, okay, so this part here, this point here can remain. We can take this point and we can bring it up like that, and you may like it like this. Maybe it's okay. A little bit more. We can bring it out like this, so it's like really quite. It's wider. More. It may be okay like this. Simulate a little bit. Okay, so we've simulated. And because usually I think some people they like these tails really stiff. Another thing you can do is you can mm, you can do many things. You can add a little pressure. You can clone it, you can clone it. That's you can add an extra line into this, or you can make it more crinkly. So this now it's white. It's the rendering type is silk and it's on silk, and that's great. And another thing is that if you, let's add another color here. Um, okay. This is good. Here, this sort of a baby blue or powder blue, we can we can use it. Okay, not too light, not too dark, but just right. I think it's good. Okay. Another thing, property we can play with is we can play with our gloss map, and we can um let's put the 3D window here, okay? And we can just turn it up here like that. Not too much maybe, because then it looks less silk. Turn it down and the gloss weft. So it practically, this gloss, of course, it's like the lighting, the way the lighting is displayed on this material too. It sort of changes the looks, okay? The renders. So look at that. That looks more like glass. You can bring that down a bit. Brought it all the way down. So then it becomes more like just shiny, less delicate, and it becomes like maybe a silk chamouse, something like that. So you can also play around with these different properties.